to say, well, nobody asked us. And they seem to be giving us a sense that they're very upset about the fact that the ROC actually went ahead and took this action without checking with the income tax department whether these companies have any outstanding liabilities and can be shut down, because like you said, procedurally there needs to be income tax department should be responding to that. On the other side, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs sources tell us that, well, we sent a notice and we gave them time, but they never responded. So right now, on paper, we don't know actually what the true story is, who was sleeping and who woke up a little too late, but both sides seem to be blaming each other about how this happened. Fact of the matter is 4,000 companies now need to be revived because apparently there are pending tax collections, and we were told there were shell companies. That brings me to the other question, but before that, Mr. Ramakant Gaur raised his hand. He wanted to come in. Go ahead, Mr. Gaur. How do you see this situation?
I have a serious disagreement with the contention Mr. T.P. Oswal and Mr. Dinesh Verma had put forward. Because shell company, we need to understand what the shell company is. And without going into the jargon, let me explain this for the viewers in very simple language. What is shell company? An inactive company which is operating, which is showing the financial transaction without conducting any business. So, if this is the shell company and it is resorting to the fraudulent means to conduct the business, so the basis of running this company is fraudulent, they have committed a crime. Now, whether they are showing this income by way of maneuvering and manufacturing, fabricating certain documents, so they themselves are showing that they owe certain tax. So, the liability of income tax is fastened upon them. This is one part. What cannot be ignored is that these shell companies were fabricating the documents. We have seen such documents playing in a nasty manner in Vijay Mallya's case, in Mehul Choksi's case, Nirav Modi's case. So, these shell companies conduct their business in such a shrewd manner so that they do not conduct any real business, they just enter into the financial transactions. So, this is the response to Mr. T.P. Oswal and Mr. Dinesh
Mr. Gaur,
Verma's
let me get this straight. Mr.
Now,
Gaur,
what needs to be done?
Just for the sake of understanding, let me get this straight. You're saying that even though they don't really have any real business, you know, just for a layman to understand, they're not manufacturing anything, they're not providing any kind of service, they're literally just doing some kind of a shady deal or a point between, you know, money being transferred from one to the other, but that can be enough to raise a tax demand. But how are they going to pay this tax if they're not earning any income?
I am coming to that. I'm coming to that, Tanvi, because the law of the country is not lame. If not one law is prescribing the procedure, the other laws comes to the rescue. Mr. Verma has placed reliance on certain rules. Rules are made to facilitate the process of law. Rules are not there to frustrate the law. And the law is, if a person has committed a wrong, there is a remedy. And this is a trite law, nothing new is there. So, yes, there may be some safe passage for the tax evaders in Income Tax Act or in the Companies Act, but there are laws which can actually be utilized to extract and ensure that this money of the government is saved and the nation is saved from this mal-design of tax evaders. How? First thing first, that this perspective of tax evasion is being committed by way of resorting to fraudulent means, and thereby they are conducting their businesses by fabricating documents. Once forgery is there, this creates a bottom line, a ground for registering a predicate crime under the IPC, or even SFIO has powers,
right,
and punitive powers to arrest a person under the new Act, Companies Act 2013. Now, once a predicate crime is registered, another department, which is Enforcement Directorate, can attach the properties of directors, relatives,
fair
and
enough.
of any other person whosoever is concerned in this
that's
mal-design.
the criminal prosecution part of
Their properties
it,
can be
Mr. Gaur.
attached.
Fair enough. That is the criminal prosecution part of this.
No, Tanvi, this is not the criminal part. I'm sorry, this is not the criminal.
You
part.
are saying
this
once
is the
the crime
part
of a
the
company,
attachment of the offenders.
that you are saying once the crime of a company has been established, how the enforcement agency goes ahead with it, this is the route. The point I am making is, how is it that you are telling us that this is a shell company which is only on paper, but there are pending tax liabilities on it? If there is no income because the company is not doing any business, what is this tax you're talking about? That is the question here.
Okay, so you are talking about tax versus crime.
Correct.
Let us
there is no doubt about the
understand
crime.
this analogy as well.
No, there is no doubt about the crime. Please be rest assured. If it's a shell company, there is a crime.
To be detected.
Correct.
Correct.
Yes, there is no doubt about that. There are two issues here. Yes, one is, how did we shut down companies that had tax liabilities and deregister them or strike them off without checking with the system? It's like the right arm of the government doesn't know what the left arm is doing. Secondly, if there are tax liabilities, how do we know there were shell companies to begin with? That's what I am coming to.